welcome back Emma Willmann.
Oh, Emma. You're Emma.
Here we go. Let's get crazy.
Oh, Emma.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Emma's Bunker. It's me, Emma. Hello. It's the day after Halloween, and I've got an exciting guest for you guys today. But while we're waiting for her to get over here, I just wanted to, just go over a few things. Do some housekeeping. Write in if you want. As always, I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for the emails, the messages on Instagram. Haven't got any messages on TikTok. I don't even know if you can do that. I'm just trying to talk about TikTok more because that's where I've been getting the most traction. Let me tell you something. I'm an asshole because for like 5, 6, 7, 8 months, I was like, TikTok, what? Screw that. Interview a TikToker. What am I in? Blah! The second I had a video do well on TikTok, it was I love TikTok. TikTok. So screw me. I don't know. It reminded me of why I was always talking shit about math class. It's just like, I don't like things that I don't do well at. And that's not a good reason to not like something. I need to be better. I need to take myself out of the equation and look at it more objectively. Last night was Halloween and it was a real shit show for a lot of reasons. I was packing. So my girlfriend Ashley doesn't want to stay in LA anymore. The deal right now is she's going to go to Louisiana for an undetermined amount of time. It's been, I would say, a daily, hourly, minutely argument because a couple months ago I had said I would do that. And then as it gets closer to it, I'm like, I don't want to go to Louisiana. And she was like, you said you would. And then she says a bunch of things that make sense when they're coming out of her mouth. But then when I sit with them, I'm like, what the fuck? And it made me think this. I don't know if the women that I'm with in the past couple years are even attracted to more masculine women or if they just only want to win arguments. I know that's offensive and I'm not saying masculinity is directly correlated to losing an argument, but I am. I have a theory. The more feminine you are in whatever packaging that could be in, the better you are at arguing. I don't know why or what it is. I didn't finish medical school. Also didn't start it, but definitely didn't finish it. This is purely based off of observations of the callbacks and the facts. Maybe it's not a feminine masculine thing. Maybe it's about type A and type B. All I know is I am with type A people and they argue well. Last night at the show I was doing, I took a minute to go to a comedy show. I was going to cancel it because I was like, I need to keep helping with the moving. I'm being a bad partner. And then I knew I would resent her more if I canceled the show. So I was like, I'm still going to cancel it. Almost looking for reasons to add fuel to the fire. Do you ever do that? You're arguing and it's like a umbrella of an argument overhang. And so you start doing things to then get more mad at the person so you can keep the argument going. That's not fair or healthy. So I recognized that while I was doing it. I was like, she just never asked me to not do this show. I'm purely about to not do it so then I can be like, end. Affecting career stuff. So I said to her, I'm going to cancel my show. And she was like, why would you do that? Just go do it. And I was like, damn it. I was looking for things to get me more cooking. Let's get this pot stewing to the point of it runneth over. You know when it says my cup runneth over? Isn't that supposed to be like a good thing? Like my cup, I've got too much of it, but why would you want it running over? Whatever. So I go to the show, and while I was there, I was talking to a comedian. Ran into Irene, who's going to be on the show in a minute, and another comedian, Taylor Tomlinson, and we were talking. And I was kind of saying what they were like, are you staying? Or however it was led into it. I was like, no, I got to go back and fight and pack. We're going through it. And they were like, well, why are you thinking of going to Louisiana? And I was like, I don't know. Some reason that makes sense when my girlfriend says it. And then I mentioned her being more type A. And Taylor was like, look, type A people have their arguments planned out. And I was like, I never have the argument planned out. I just don't care that much. But I do care. It's not like me not caring about the relationship. It's just like, I'll be like, yeah, sure. Okay. And then the next thing I know, I'm moving to Louisiana. I need to start paying more attention real quick. Because I think what it is I am just always so preoccupied with entertainment and I'm switching it from trying to make it to making it. That's a phrasing my therapist said to work on. Switching that narrative in my head and that's just always my focus. So other things just fall to the side. And that's not fair to me or to anyone else or cool. Because then I'm like, sure. And I'm just over here doing this. And the next thing I know, I'm packing my bags to go to the what? I don't know. So Ashley and her brother left today. We packed all night last night. And how this relates to Halloween is whilst we were packing after the show, I keep hearing bing bongs. That's the sound of the alarm. That's the sound of the doorbell. Keep hearing bing bongs. Sounds like I was about to say something really offensive. I'm not talking about some group of people. There's no group of people. Whatever. And then that's on you if you thought that. Maybe you didn't. Did that sound problematic? No. Okay, thank you. So, keep hearing bing bongs. And if there was a community bing bongs, I would be in the bing bongs. That's why I would know it even could be a community, because it's like, oh, it's the bing bongs, bing bong. It's like a cult. You're like, I'm trying to get out, but keep getting sucked back into these idiots. So I keep hearing bing bongs. And we're packing, so we're going upstairs, downstairs, bringing things to the car, as you do. Bing bong, bing bong. And it's people at the front door. Now, I'd say about 50% of them are wearing masks. But traditionally, everybody I'm seeing is wearing a mask. In LA, not in San Diego, but in LA, everyone's in a mask. Now I got, Santa Claus or Tiger King or a pumpkin at the door, no mask. And I would instinctively, if I hear bing bong and I'm walking by, I'm someone who lets the person in, no questions asked. It's not, I don't know if that's good either. Knock on wood that's not famous last words. I let people in, no questions asked. And I watch a lot of true crime. So why do I still do that? I don't know. But I do. Someone's trying to get in. I'm walking by. Welcome to wherever I'm at. Come on in, whatever you're addressed as. And I would say that even if it wasn't Halloween, come in. Come as you are. But I'm letting people in. They're not wearing masks, so I let them in, then I jump back. And then this guy keeps running down the stairs. He's not wearing a mask. Every time he sees me, he's like, do you know what my Halloween costume is? I was like, I don't know, being like kind of an asshole. Because you know what my Halloween costume is? I'm AJ from the Backstreet Boys. And now I love the Backstreet Boys. And he didn't look like any of the Backstreet Boys, so it was interesting he chose AJ. Because he could have been any one of them and looked as much like any one of them, because he doesn't really look like any of them. It would be like if I was like, I'm Pretty Little Princess number 6. It wouldn't matter which number I pick, because there's such a divide between me and them anyway. So it's like, why would you? I'm not asking as an insult to AJ, but I'm genuinely curious, what is it that draws you to AJ to the point that you wanted to pick him? That's all I want to know. Who's your favorite Backstreet Boy? emma'sbunker@gmail.com, asking the most relevant and timely questions. Now, what I really wanted to ask was, how do you feel about Halloween? How do you feel about it? Why and why? Why and why? I've been in tons of relationships. Luckily, thank God, Ashley doesn't give a shit about Halloween. Oh, bless her. Ugh. And, but I've been in lots of relationships where it'll be like the first couple months and they'll be like, do you like Halloween? And I usually in these instances pretend to have some level of interest so I don't seem like a monster. I'll usually be like, you used to, or something switches up. But with Halloween over the years, just no, I don't. I don't care. I don't have the space in my brain. I mean, it's not like I'm not into, I love the idea of role playing. I love escapism. I like getting weird. But why do you need a specific night for any of those things? You want to dress up as a scantily clad nurse? Please do it on Tuesday morning and not one night a year. Please. Why? Why hold yourself back if that's how you want to do? Escaping judgment? I don't know about it. So I could give 2 flying iotas of a fuck about Halloween. I mean, really, honestly, and truly, there's not 1% of me that can even pretend to care, and I can't stand it. So I didn't have a costume on. Went to the show last night. I'm like the only one that didn't have a costume on, besides Irene, actually, or the guest today. I don't think she had one on either. But I felt self-conscious because I was like, okay, I'm kind of like funny looking. So what if people think this is my costume? What if like normally they're like, oh, she's like a... Like, what if they think I'm someone dressing up as Ellen or Hannah Hart or something like that, and I'm just, like, really good at wearing a costume, or I seem, like, kind of lame. So that was my concern. Also, an update from last week. My tooth fell out about 18 times. Stressed and worried about that, but all in all, things are okay. I wanted to focus on something that, what's a thing that we can do to make the world a little bit of a better place that's realistic and within reach. I got it. Here's one. Here's one for this episode. because I want the bunker to be a feel-good place, too, amongst all the griping. If you're opening the door, just keep it open a little longer for the person behind you. Boom, boom, boom. Done and done. Keep it open. Let them walk through. Even if you're more feminine, do it. It's a little bit of chivalry. Do it. Do it. It'll make you feel good. It'll make the person feel good. And also, you know, if you see someone with a dog, compliment the dog. I'm really into that. If I see someone with a dog, I go, cute dog. It seems to make them happy, unless I'm in New York when they're like, stop touching my dog because I was getting too trigger happy. Too handsy with the pooches up top. I'm watching the door right now because I know they're going to come in and I don't want to be talking about something too insane. I got to be a guest on my friend Zach Notower's podcast last weekend. That was really fun. It was about sex. We were kind of charting like the sexual growth or what is sexual trajectory, backstory, whatever. And it was a little uncomfortable because Ashley was out seeing a client. But her brother, who's great, who's been living with us, who's awesome, he was there, and I was like, "Oh, this poor guy. I hope he has earpods in or something," because he's literally listening to me and my friend, and we're like sitting social distance, which also that means you can be talking louder, you know, hollering, talking about like very explicit sexual things. But I was talking about. Okay, today my guest is comedian, actor, writer, Irene Tu. Hi, Irene.
Hi, Emma.
And also, I saw Irene last night, and I was just talking about when you came in, Halloween. I hate Halloween. I hate Halloween costumes. I was wondering how you feel about it.
Oh, I hate Halloween.
Really?
Yeah, because I saw you at a show that I just went to hang out at.
Yeah.
Then I did a show right after that.
Nice.
I felt terrible.
Was everyone else in a Halloween costume?
Yes.
Son of a bitch. I was just saying, I was like, I wasn't in the Halloween costume, and the only
I
other
wasn't either.
was you. But I worry if there's a reason we both hate it, and I wonder if it's connected to something that we can get to. Why do you talk me through it? Like when you were a little kid, did you celebrate?
I'm just not a huge holiday person because
Likewise.
our family just never really celebrated holidays together. And I'm an only child. So they would just like, I would get Christmas presents, but it was like just because it was me, but it wasn't a
Right.
whole family ordeal.
Was it because your parents, I was reading, were divorced? So was like you're going back and forth between your two parents?
When I was a kid, they were still together. They got divorced when I was in high school. So they, you know, we tried to celebrate, but it's just my family's never been like a holiday.
Sure.
And also most of the holidays here are like Americanized holidays,
Yes.
and they're both from China. They immigrated here, so they're like, we don't really care about Christmas.
Right.
We're just doing it because
I didn't
you're a
even think of
child.
that. Right.
So they're like, here's presents.
Right.
But like, we don't care.
It wasn't like ingrained in them from traditions.
No.
Oh, I didn't even.
No.
Oh, sometimes I'm so stupid about that. Like I've definitely asked people before. I'm like, "What'd you do for Thanksgiving?" They're like, "I'm Canadian" or something, and I'm like, go.
So we don't do that.
Yeah,
So it's like Halloween's the same thing. They're like,
Right.
we don't even know what this holiday is. I mean, I guess there's candy involved.
Right.
We'll get you a costume.
Right.
So they bought me like a costume when I was, like 7 or 8. I wore the same costume every year until I got way
remember?
too big. I was a pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Oh.
Like a little, you buy the little pumpkin shirt thing.
Yeah.
And that was my costume forever. And I think I was a witch one year. So I had like a witch hat.
Yeah.
That was it.
Also, it's nice that it wasn't too gendered because I was wondering if that could be part of it.
Totally.
Because that's a real gender, like, are you a prince or a princess type thing?
Yeah, but I was never into like the fairy tale thing. So I was never wanted to be a princess. I just was like, oh, what do people do on Halloween? They're like witches or people like pumpkins. So
Right.
that was like the costume I picked. And then we were very frugal. So they're just like, well, we bought you a costume once, so you're just going to wear this.
You're a pumpkin in different sizes. You're a different size pumpkin.
Yeah, no. So the first year I had it, it was like cute because I was small and
Right.
the outfit was like way too big. So I was like, oh, that's a cute pumpkin. And then I got to an age where I'm like, that doesn't fit at all.
Like, that's a fucked up pumpkin. Like, that's a homeless pumpkin.
Yeah, it's like it looks more like a squash or like a
Right.
a skinny gourd.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
like, what are you? And was this in Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago, in the
Okay.
suburbs. Yeah.
When your parents divorced, did they each stay in Chicago?
Yeah, my dad actually didn't live that far from us.
Mm.
So he was, I don't know, like a few miles away.
That
and
was, like,
sometimes
similar
he
to
would drive
me.
me to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mom moved, but right nearby,
Yeah, exactly.
which is nice. Oh, I found it was also a little weird because like I would just not see my mom a lot too, and then but I would like drive by her house.
I never went to my dad's house. I didn't even know where he lived. I mean, I'm
Mm.
sure if I asked, I could figure it out. I've never been that close to my dad. So it was kind of just like, hey, he's gonna pick you up from school. I'm like, great,
Right,
perfect.
right. I'll be dressed as the fucking pumpkin
Yeah.
again. I hate Halloween too because I just don't match the excitement of other people about it, and then that's also weird.
Totally. You have to be so excited about Halloween, and I'm never that level of excitement, which is why I don't want to dress up.
Right.
Because also, I think we're at that age where if you do dress up, it has to be like a dope costume.
Sure.
Super funny or
Right.
like really clever or
Right.
you look just like that character or whatever.
You put some thought into it.
Yeah, you have to put
Yeah.
thought into it. I'm not going to spend half the year putting thought into my costume.
Not 1/2 hour of one fucking day am I thinking about what type of like I don't even know. I wouldn't even in my wildest imagination be able to come up with a costume I would want to be.
Exactly.
I just don't care.
I don't care enough. I'm not like a pun person. So
I hate puns.
Yes.
Are puns and Halloween costumes connected?
I think so, because
Oh.
my friend, she had like a barbecue yesterday, and then she was like, her name's Emily.
Yeah.
So she went by like Emily in Paris. She had
Sure,
like
sure,
a pun.
sure.
Where I'm like,
Right.
oh, that's like clever and
Right.
stuff. But I'm like, my name's Irene.
Right.
What am I gonna do with that?
Yeah.
Nothing. And there's not that many like Asian
Sure.
celebrity famous. Like, who am
Totally.
I gonna be?
Right.
And I look like this.
Right.
So it's just like not that many options.
Not as many options. Well, that's why as you make it an entertainment, then you could be someone's Halloween costume, I guess. But even that feels kind of offensive because
I
it's
know,
like,
kind of weird.
yeah, it'd be kind of weird too.
But I kind of like every year Ali Wong has like people do her costume from like her
Yes.
special, so they'll like be her. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, that would be cool if I was like famous enough one day where people wanted to be me for
Right.
Halloween. That seems like fun.
And they're doing it in a good way with her. It's not like
Totally.
weird.
No, it's not weird at all.
Yeah,
it's
it's,
like
like,
flattering.
Totally flattering.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that as well. What did they do when you showed up and you weren't in a costume? Were people say anything?
No, I don't think people said anything. I think most of the other comics were in costume.
Yeah, what the fuck? It didn't even occur to me other comics would be in a
I
costume.
know. I thought it was just for the regular audience members.
I didn't even, I think I was so stressed about moving. I knew, because I said when I got there, I was like, I didn't wear a costume. I was moving all day. And someone was like, fuck that. You knew it was Halloween though. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. I know it was Halloween. I wouldn't have dressed up anyway, but I also really didn't think about it because I was moving today.
Yeah.
And then they were like, I was like, well, now I feel like I look like a killjoy. And they're like, oh, yeah, definitely.
They thought that was funny.
Yeah, they agreed. They co-signed it. They were like, yeah,
Oh my
you do.
God.
You look like, I was like, yeah, I'm not someone that I don't seek out things like this, or I'm not like a fun person necessarily. I think I am all right, but what the fuck?
I just feel like we already do comedy. Why do we have to dress up on Halloween?
Yeah.
Like, we're already doing the funny thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need to also have to come up with a costume.
Right.
Why do I have to add to my job?
Yes. It's like a costume on top of a costume. And I really do feel with the gender thing too, because I'm like, well, yeah, I don't know what. I guess I would be I don't know, like a man. I don't know. I've never.
It stresses me out. Just
Stresses
thinking
me out.
I would just like, I don't want to deal with it. But then at the show, I like felt like I bombed. Like, I didn't like really bomb, but I was like, oh, I did not kill
Totally.
at all.
Yep.
And I think part of it was because I was just dressed as me. And they're like, we came here to see people in costumes.
So that's such a comedian thing, because that's so, or at least, I mean, ascribing it to all comedians, that's so related. I relate to that, because if I feel bad about something too, I'll if I like don't like, and I would do the exact same thing, or I'll be like, they were here to see this, or if I didn't wear a costume, or if I did wear a costume, however it went. But imagine you wore a costume, kill, then you would think you had to wear that fucking costume all the time.
That's also true.
You're like,
That's true. They're like, now I'm just the costume comic.
yeah, right. They're like,
Now I'm just the giant pumpkin every time.
you're
it
still
gets-
wearing that outfit.
Yeah.
They're like, she's like, Irene's not getting a new one. Were you always like, when did you start to feel like uncomfortable being a little bit more androgynous?
I did. I had very long hair. So when I was a
Really?
kid, people called me Mulan because that was also a popular
Right.
movie when I was growing up. Because my hair was kind of like that when I was a little
Were
girl.
there? Did you grow up in like a mixed community, or was it mostly white? Or
It was mostly white.
okay.
Yeah, it was like mostly white, like Christian or Catholic.
Yeah.
that kind of
I
thing.
can picture that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then say Milan, and you're like, all right.
I mean, I also didn't really think it was racist as
Yeah.
a kid because, like, I didn't understand race at all. And
Sure.
it was like, that's not a bad character to be. If you were going to
True.
pick anything, Mulan, great.
Great.
She's awesome.
She is awesome.
But in hindsight, I was like, I feel like it might have been a little bit racist.
Right. Just in like, because in my school, there was this girl, they're in Romaine, there's so few, very, very white. The two women of color, I remember they'd always be like, you should be Scary Spice, or you should be, and then just say,
right.
Insert black person,
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, yeah. that was...
Looking back,
Mhm.
it's like, well, obviously you'd be that one, and it's like, why? And we're like, oh, and then, yeah. So you used to have very long hair, and then when did you cut it off?
I didn't cut it off until I was in college.
Mm.
And I like saw someone with like short hair and I was like, that looks cool. And that person at the time identified as a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, I could cut my hair like that. I think actually I forgot one time when I was in high school, there was this other girl who had like really cool short hair, but she had like reddish hair and it was like a little too far off from my hair where I didn't even consider it a possibility for me. And so this person whose hair I saw when I was like in college, I was like, oh, they have like dark, almost like black hair, short, looks cool. They were very queer. And I was like, oh, like I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I cut my hair, but I chickened out because I wanted it to be like pretty short, like kind of how it is now. But I never had short hair before. And I thought maybe I'll look terrible. And I think I like brought it up with my mom and she was like, you kind of have a round face. And if you have short hair, it's going to look like a
fucking
balloon.
moms. They always say something too that like, you're like, oh, that sounds like a thing.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, of course. I guess I shouldn't do that.
Right.
So then I chickened out and I cut it like maybe like more like a bob length-ish. It didn't really look like a bob, but it was like kind of to my chin. And it was fine, but I was like, no, I'm going to cut it shorter.
Yeah,
again.
not what
so
I'm
then
going
the next
for.
time I cut it. Yeah.
How did you feel when you cut it shorter?
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so heavy also too. When you cut it, you don't realize how much weight is in your hair.
Totally. It changes. I relate to feeling scared about it too. I forget if I waited till after college. I tried to get my sister to cut her hair short because we look similar.
Oh, you're like, you try it first.
And she was like, no. And then I got it cut in Puerto Rico because I was scared that if it didn't look good, then at least I'd still be on vacation. So, but the very first version of the cut I didn't know it didn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while.
Takes a while.
Yeah.
And when I had long hair, I always like slicked it back in a hard ponytail. Did you do that?
No, I actually never liked to wear my hair up.
Really?
This is weird, right?
Are there pictures of this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like on Facebook.
Okay.
If you go
I believe you.
far
I
enough
believe you.
back.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I won't even do that. But I believe you. But
Yeah.
it's just
No,
I can't
there's
even
pictures.
I can't even picture it.
I don't know why I like refuse to like put my hair up in a ponytail. And I used to play basketball a lot as a kid, and I just played it with my hair just so long.
Wow.
And I was still like pretty good.
Nice.
But I was like, wow, can you imagine if I put my hair up, how much better I would have been?
Right, and it wasn't in your fucking face.
Yeah.
Were you, when you cut the hair short too, and when you saw that person, was that like one of the first queer people you saw?
Yes. Like first like very out queer, like, cool person I saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's what I want.
It's a cool moment. Mine was definitely in college too, because in like high school, I was totally in the closet.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Total. Yeah. Like, did you ever make fun of gay people?
Not really in high school, but I do have one memory when I was in middle school. I didn't know anything about gay people. I don't,
Right.
because I was not very sexual as a kid whatsoever.
Right.
It was just people would be like,
Which is
"I
good,
don't-"
Brian.
Yeah. No, but like, you know, when girls are like, oh, I have this crush on this boy, I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Right,
'Cause
right,
I
right.
never had any of those
Right.
feelings. I just was like, can we go play outside? Like
Yes.
that was who I was. I'm
Totally.
like,
why are we talking about something other than like dessert? Like,
yeah,
what,
yeah. I'm like,
why? Yeah.
are we gonna go play dodgeball?
Right.
Like, what's happening? Why are
Totally.
we talking about boys?
Totally.
Like, and makeup. I don't
Right.
care.
Right.
But I remember I went home from school one time with a classmate, and then she was like, what do you think about gay people? And I was like, oh, I think that's gross. Or like, I think she was like, yeah, what do you think if like a man kisses on another man or something like that? And I was like, oh, I think that's gross. And she was like, I don't think that's gross. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oops, me neither. I did that. I had a friend, Margot, that her mom's best friends were gay. And I remember, I forget what it was, but I said something about not being for gay marriage. And she was like, my mom's best friends are gay. Like, how could you say that? And then I like retreated. But just feeling my knee-jerk reaction was like, well, it's weird. It's really, really, it's not okay. In your Wikipedia, it said that I don't know what the exact terminology. It didn't say make fun. It said you poked fun, teasing classmates. That's the word, teasing classmates, and that's when you started. What's the teasing classmates? How did this emerge?
I'm not exactly sure what that is referencing.
It's in your. First of all, your Wikipedia is funny too because
Oh my god, it's a nightmare.
Wikipedia is a very usually bullet points of facts. Like it'll be like Irene did this, Irene did that, Irene did this. So Irene's has that, but Irene's is also filled with commentary is not the right word because it's more official seeming than commentary, but it's like a very a documentation of. So in Wikipedia it says, and maybe they're getting it from nowhere, but they said that you were teasing you were doing involved in a few different things, and then started teasing classmates, and that's where you realized your sense of humor was coming in. Around that time you saw Ellen, and then you backtracked to what Ellen did to become where she is, and it said comedy.
Okay, I think what they're referring to is I had friends that I would make fun of.
How the fuck did they know this?
I must have said it on some other podcast.
You must have. You had. So they better be getting it from somewhere.
Somebody is listening to every podcast I've ever done and then putting it on Wikipedia. It's actually crazy. You have to look at this Wikipedia page. And also somebody who's good at technology, please change my Wikipedia page so it is normal. I didn't write this at all. I was hoping I wouldn't have a Wikipedia page until I was super famous.
It is citing podcasts too. They're like,
it's weird.
Yeah, they're at minute. I've never seen one do this before. At minute 42, Irene said that she was, or I alluded to, Irene was closeted as a gay at the time.
I've never said that phrase, by the way. I've never said closeted as a gay. I've never said that until right now.
They actually did not quote you as saying that, but they did not. Yeah,
Oh,
they're not doing that. But they did say at the something in your sexuality section, which is pretty long. They say you were closeted as a gay.
I don't know why my sexuality section is that long when it should just say she's gay.
Right. It said you weren't. It said you were in the closet, and then it talks about coming out. I think it said in college. Where it also said in college you studied environmental science.
Well, that's not what I graduated in.
No, it's not what you graduated in. They said you transferred schools and graduated in something else, but Northwestern and studied environmental science, but it was too depressing.
Yeah.
I've never picked up that from somene's Wikipedia.
Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. It's the craziest
Pretty impressive.
Thing.
What was? I can see how it would be depressing, but what happened?
I just took some classes, and it's just capitalism is just everywhere. Where I don't like to be an environmental science major. Or to be an environmentalist, it is very depressing because you're like, we can't win.
Right.
There's no winning.
Right.
Because of capitalism.
Is it similar to, and I think maybe social workers would, I don't mean to misspeak on this, but sometimes I feel like I'm always so impressed by social workers because I'm like, that's so hard because you're dealing with these individual cases, but the problem is so much higher up. And it's like, how do you, but anytime you do something that's good, that's a win in that sense, but it's like quicksand almost.
Yeah. But the other thing is too, it's just I remember when I was a freshman and we were reading an article about the auto industry and how, the gas mileage on cars, the average is 30 miles a gallon. If you're lucky, 30 miles. It's mostly 20, 25. It's not good.
Something. Yeah, not good.
But they have the technology to make it at least double that. They just choose not to because they're in cahoots with the oil industry.
What?
Yeah. And then after I read that, I was like, what am I even doing here? Because I'm like, we could fix this. Just nobody wants to do it because of money.
Right.
And I'm like, well, then how am I supposed to help?
Right. How did other students react to it? They were like, yeah, we're going to still make a change.
Oh, I don't know. And I just wasn't really friends with other classmates.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I was like, oh, I'm really into the environment, or I think it's important, but I'm not into hiking. I felt like we were on different pages.
Totally.
They're like, oh, we want to camp all the time. That's the level of environment that you love. And I'm just like, can we stop littering?
Yes. Totally.
Can my car go
Right.
faster?
Right.
Can I put less
I
gasoline in it.
can I drive my car fast with less gasoline to the recycling place?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
I need to be better about recycling. I'm not so good about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but even recycling, that's just so low on the like.
I know. I'm
totem pole.
sorry.
Like the only
I'm
thing
sorry.
about recycling, the thing you really should recycle is aluminum because it's very recyclable. Everything else is kind of
like soup cans.
like just anything that's aluminum. Yeah, like Coke cans,
Okay.
like I guess soup cans and stuff because when you recycle it, you can it's like 95% recyclable. So you take like a virgin can, that's what they call it, like when it just came out of the ground, aluminum. You make a can, if you recycle it, 95% of that aluminum is still in the next can, which is pretty good.
That's good.
Because most of the other stuff like plastic, it kind of gets downcycled.
Right.
You know, so
So
you're not really like recycling it.
Because it's
you
just
know.
already going to be kind of junk.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's
See,
kind of like, well, you're not throwing it away, but it's like you can't make another plastic can out of the can.
were your parents into recycling? Because my mom is, and I think that's why I'm not that into it.
I don't know that they are really. I just got into it because we would do it in school. Like they would teach you like, oh, you put the stuff in this one bin, then you put the stuff in the other bin. I'm like, oh, okay. And I like following rules.
Right.
So
right.
That's how I got into it.
Was it what kind of school was it?
It's a public school.
And they emphasize recycling? That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I went to like a hippie Waldorf school. I'm sure they were recycling there, but maybe it was like so assumed that it would be so preposterous for anyone to not. They didn't even teach it.
They're just like, you know how to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, I actually don't.
I don't, because we wouldn't even wear shoes. It was like, you don't wear shoes indoors. Everyone packs their own lunch.
They're like, you obviously know recycling.
Right.
Come on. You're not wearing shoes.
I did not. I'm going to recycle this and this, but I need to get that's just because of this conversation, but I have to like keep remembering to do it. I just fucking gotta. That's a thing I could do to be a better person, to step it up in that regard a little bit.
Yeah. But it's also the third. It's supposed to be reduce.
Right.
Reuse, then recycle.
Fuck.
So
how do I reduce? How do I reduce?
That's the whole thing. Is like you're supposed to buy less shit. And then you keep reuse the shit you already have.
All right.
And then finally it's like, okay, then I'll recycle this shit. It's the last
Okay, that's
step.
a way I can understand that.
Yeah.
That's a way I can get that. When you went from Northwestern to Berkeley, what was that? Based on Wikipedia, which maybe this person's making it up. God forbid you ever make this person mad. I think it's someone who's in love with you.
It might be.
And they're posting it.
It is kind that
very kind.
My fans are trying to make me seem like I'm doing lots of stuff.
And also, that's actually a good point. It's very well could be more than one person.
Also could be more than one person.
I didn't even think of that. Because at first I thought it was maybe some person that like...
It might be a collaborative effort.
Shout outs to the fan club.
Yeah,
who's doing this Wikipedia, doing the Wikipedia
I use this
page.
To sell tickets at the club though?
Yeah, right. God.
It's like, I know I'm not like famous yet, but like look at this Wikipedia entry.
Yeah.
Like people want to
fucking this person, people, they love me.
Yeah.
When you switched to go to Berkeley, was that mostly based on wanting to just be in a different type of environment than Northwestern, or what?
Yeah, I never really wanted to go to Northwestern. That was not the school that I had my heart set on.
Great school, though.
It is a great school. Yeah. I wanted to go to Stanford. I always wanted to live in California.
So you were like a good student.
I was a very good student. Yeah. Although I didn't do as well in high school as I think I could have done,
because
I was in the closet mostly.
Oh,
yeah,
and
I was kind of struggling with that and stuff like that.
It's totally.
Like if I had come out and I was comfortable with it, I would have done way better in school.
Do you think it was inducing depression in a way that made you less motivated to do class stuff?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like depression and also just like anxiety and just stress and I'm like I still want to do well, but I'm like I felt like I couldn't do it.
Totally.
The
anxiety is. It's so these things that it's just like things like just, the impending dance or the prom or the anything. I used to get more worked up about almost the clothes than even the same-sex relationships.
Oh, the clothes was horrifying.
That was the scary.
Prom?
What'd you do?
I mean, I went in a dress, but I didn't want to.
Me too.
Yeah, because nobody in my school was gay also. Like 0 people were out.
We had 2 people that were out as bisexuals. and they always would hold hands in the hallway, and then there was just one other girl that was out, and everyone kind of made fun of her.
Yeah.
And that was about it. And one girl who was gay, but she transferred.
Oh, so she left.
She
And you're
left,
like, okay,
yeah.
well, what do I do?
Right. And I remember, and her mom had been my child therapist.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird.
Totally weird. Small town. But yeah, I remember her name. I can picture her walking around the halls and me not really me kind of looking away from her. But yeah, wearing that dress and the fucking dress shopping. And did you have a date?
I actually went 2 years.
Me too, baby.
I went with a date when I was a junior, and then senior year I went with friends.
I went with a date. But both times it was kind of a friend. I did have boyfriends in high school, and
Oh, I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
I did. You bypassed that?
No. So this guy asked me, he was in my math class, to go
Yeah.
with him junior year, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's free.
Right.
We'll go.
So romantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say it like that,
Right.
but I was like, okay.
So you weren't pretending to him even, really?
Well, then I think he was gonna ask me on a date after the prom thing,
Sure.
and I was like, oh no, this is not happening.
Right. Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
So even despite the anxiety, you were still keeping it real. You weren't pushing yourself too far out of that.
No.
Good.
But
Good.
I was like, oh, I'll go because people think this is a thing to do,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm always open to doing things that.
And it's high school.
It's high. You're like,
Circles
yeah, I'll
around
go.
prom.
Sure.
Prom is the thing
Yeah.
that you talk about years ahead.
Totally. And I knew other people that were going, so I'm
Right.
like, it'll be fun and
Right.
fine. But I'm like, oh, I'm not this is not going to be a thing. We're not making out at all.
And the anxiety of getting the dress and the dancing,
Yeah.
that stuff.
The dancing stuff I still can't dance.
I don't dance
I
well
don't know how
either.
to dance
Me
because I'm like,
neither.
I feel like dancing is very gendered.
It is.
And I'm like, well, I don't feel very feminine. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to dance like a girl or
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know how to dance.
I really relate to that. And I also didn't know if it was me. I didn't know if it was that. So hearing you say that makes me think maybe that's what it is for me. Because for a while, I thought it was the dyslexia for me. I was like, maybe hold on. It's
Wait,
going to make sense. Let me
what?
bring it around. Because of that dyslexia, I was like, maybe that has offsets my rhythm a little bit, but it's not rhythm that I don't like with the, I remember, okay, in high school, I tried playing drums for a little bit.
Okay.
Totally was fucking it up. Couldn't read the music. So
Sure.
I was way off rhythm. So I have this very distinct memory of, because if you're drums, everyone can hear you.
Yes.
So if we're in this room right now and I'm playing the drums and you're playing your instrument, he's playing his instrument, and the beat is off, you're both going to be like, who's off? And then there's me off. So I just remember it was me and one other kid at the drums. They're like, one of the two of you is off. And he was like, it's her. It was me. So I just always was like, I don't have the rhythm right. It's a little off because of dyslexia. But maybe it is the gendered nature of even just how you move your body with people watching.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I am so uncomfortable with people watching me not feel comfortable with my body.
Mm-hmm. Right, because, yeah.
And it had happened before when I was because I couldn't really dance, but I'd go to the school dances or whatever. And
Right.
then friends of mine would sort of make fun of me. And then I felt very self-conscious about it.
Right.
So now I'm try to avoid
What do
all
you do
things
at
with
weddings?
dancing.
Do you do the bop? I'll fucking dance now.
I've
I'll
only been to
dance.
one wedding, by the
Oh.
way.
How'd you manage that?
I luckily had an excuse because I had just got into a car accident, which is horrible. But then I couldn't dance because I physically was
Wow.
injured.
You hate dancing.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? Well, luckily I had been in a serious car accident and I couldn't dance. You skipped a step. I'm so sorry that happened.
It's totally fine. But
The dancing, not the car. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm so sorry the car accident happened. That's so scary and
I
awful.
think I got into a car accident. It was Sunday night and the wedding was Saturday. And I'm like, it was my best friend from high school. And I was like,
God.
I'm going to go to this wedding.
Right.
So I didn't dance. I mean, I just kind of moved my arm, I
Right.
just moved my arms a little. I'm like, oh, sorry guys, almost died. So you're lucky I'm here.
Maybe that's if I have to go to because now it really actually isn't that bad once you start doing it. When you do, because now I will, especially because I'm sober too. I'll be like, okay, I just have to. But now I'll just kind of start moving around, and it actually really isn't that bad. And people aren't watching you as much as you think.
Yeah. I'm also trying to like learn how to dance, and like
Yeah.
all the TikTok videos are these
Oh, fuck
just
that.
12-year-olds dancing
Yeah,
so
fuck
well, and I'm
that.
like,
Triggering.
I mean,
Yeah.
it really is triggering.
It's like that's a different, and if they did that at a wedding, they'd look like an asshole too.
yeah.
You know, that's too good.
I know.
Have you tried doing a dancing TikTok?
No.
Oh, sorry.
God.
sorry.
Can you imagine?
I didn't know you were a bad dancer. I didn't know.
I'm such a bad dancer.
Because you can't. What do you do if you like? What about even at a? I don't know why. I literally feel like self-conscious saying this. Like, what about even at like at a gay club?
I don't go. Well, I'm also not a clubbing
Me
kind of
neither.
person.
Oh God, fucking brutal! Shoot me in the head.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
I couldn't be farther from me as a person. You know, I don't want to go to a club, and I already can't dance. So I'm like, what's the point?
And then you know what else? I'd be curious if you relate to this. I got nothing to say. When I'm at a club, I don't have fucking. If I go, I'll talk to my friend.
Yeah.
When I think of going to the times I've had fun in college, I do remember drinking and dancing with my friend Eli, who
Okay.
is queer, super queer. So we would dance and he made it fun and he loves dancing. And that was fun. And I associate fun dancing with him. I would say I've had a really good time with doing that. And the people around him, that's fun dancing. But I don't, like, after college, after I'd be with him, go to a club, and what will we even begin to talk to somebody about?
I don't know. And I don't drink. I'm not like sober.
Oh,
I just
really?
like can't drink. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm like allergic and it makes me very ill.
Actually, I remember you saying that. I'm getting deja vu. I think you mentioned that when I'm at Rooster Tea Feathers, which wasn't where I met you.
Oh, okay.
But I remember I was drinking tea or coffee or something like that.
That's
and I
very
kind of
possible,
remember
yeah.
you saying something about you not drinking
Yeah, I
too.
can't drink. So
It's a gift your body gave you.
totally. But then it's the other thing. It's like, oh, I'm very sober and I already feel uncomfortable dancing. I'm like, there's no way you're going to be able to make me dance because I'm so
Right.
self-conscious.
Right. I'm not letting loose right now.
I'm not letting loose.
Back off!
Yeah. You guys
Yeah.
are all drunk. You're all
Right.
having fun. And I'm like panicking.
Right.
Just sheer panic.
And do you feel nervous around other more masculine presenting ones, if that's how you identify with it?
Like if they're dancing,
Yeah.
not so much
Okay.
that. No.
Okay.
I'm just uncomfortable with everybody.
Okay. What about do you ever feel like, because sometimes when I would be at those places, I'd feel like the more masculine ones would be like sussing me up to like
really?
big dog at me.
Oh, yeah, I guess I don't really feel that much because I identify more as like androgynous than like very like butch or anything.
I kind of do too, though.
Yeah, so then I don't feel as like threatened because I feel like it's like usually people that are more masculine. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that's your thing.
Right.
That's not my thing.
See, I'm comfortable
Not
with that too,
concerned.
because
Yeah.
I don't feel that towards them. And
Right.
people always say I'm making this up in my head, but then I get kind of convinced sometimes that they'll be like trying to big dog me.
I mean, they might, but I'm also just like, that's your thing. I don't care.
Yeah, that's a good way to, because normally I'll be like, oh, like I'll appease it if it
Yeah.
is happening. But then every now and then, like I don't know. I'm surprised that you don't like the going to clubbing, because in like San Francisco, that is like queer club and party town.
Yeah, that's why I don't have a lot of. I have like some queer friends, but I
Yeah.
don't have as many queer friends as people think I do because I
Right.
don't go clubbing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know where to meet people.
Right.
Where
I get it.
Where do I meet lesbians? Because they're all going to whatever the thing is, and I'm just
Right.
at home.
Right. But maybe the other lesbians are at home too. I don't know.
That's true. Well, I mean, that's our thing.
Right.
It's either we go to our lesbian dance parties
Right.
or we stay home.
Right.
So
Yeah.
where do I go?
What do we do? There's got to be some like do you like a dinner party?
I'm very much an introvert, so
Yeah.
I like to hang out with like 3 of my friends tops.
Likewise, 100%. 100%. Because I'm an introvert too, but it took me years to realize that's how I recharge.
Yeah.
Because I can do a dinner party.
I mean, I can, but I got to know in advance. I plan, and then I try and dip out early.
Yeah. And I would imagine, because you've got a fun personality, that's what you do professionally, people would try to make you go to a dinner party. And then you're like, I can do this if I want to, and treat it like a fucking work thing where I try to be, and then people will be like, oh, they like you or whatever. I'm like, I was working.
I
I'm
know.
miserable. That was a concerted effort of my best self. I'm falling apart.
That's totally what I do. Like if I go to like a dinner party, whatever, I treat it like I'm networking.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm like, this is me. I'm on right now. I'm
Right.
going to be fun. People are like, wow, Irene's
great.
She's great. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going home and I'm like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I'm not doing well.
Yeah.
I can't. Did you always know you were an introvert?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I
See,
was more shy when I was a kid, too.
I did not realize it until maybe like I just knew I hated going out after shows.
I mean, I would guess that you were an extrovert too, because I feel like you're very personable.
I'm friendly and I appreciate that, but I would say the same thing. But I do not recharge from being around people at all. I have to be alone a large percentage, but I was in denial about it. I mean, I'm loud. I'm like, I am
You're loud.
outgoing.
Is that
I'm
what
loud,
it is? It's
yeah.
the loud thing?
Yeah, it's distracting from that. But I need to, like, I remember when the idea of going out after shows, I was like, there's nothing I'd rather not do.
I know.
I mean, there's nothing. Like, I need to go sit and incubate. Has this caused any problems in relationships that you don't like to go out? Because it has been a thing for me.
No, actually the opposite. Sometimes I would want to like, hang out with friends of mine or comedians at shows and stuff. And then I had a girlfriend that always wanted to go home.
Oh,
And
see,
like
that's
leave early.
that's different when it's that I would hate, because if it's at a show and you're like, I got to go be with my girlfriend.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
I'd
I
have
have
to
that
be
thing.
like, I gotta leave. So then that was a couple years of my life. Was
Yeah.
kind of a lot of that.
What about, though, they wouldn't be like, why don't we ever like go do stuff? Like I don't ever get to hang out with you and your friends.
No, we also had a big like age gap thing, so it was like that wasn't really the issue.
This was your longest relationship?
Hard to say because we were like on and off. Yeah, and it was also not good.
Oh. Was this, how long were you guys on and off for?
Like 2 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the not good?
It was just bad.
Good for you for being single then for a while afterwards and not jumping from.
I'm still single.
It's great.
3 years.
3, I know. Actually, your Wikipedia says that.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, no.
Yeah, it does.
Oh my God.
It
That's a lot.
It says Irene, as according of an interview, according to an interview,
my God.
something you did in 2020, has been single for 3 years.
That must be an update because I knew I had a Wikipedia page because like I don't know, someone told me one time
Yep.
and I looked and I'd read it and it didn't say that back then. So
They've been
that's
updating.
new.
They've been updating.
Wow.
Okay, we have a question, and this was a queer related question, which is total coincidence. It has truly. This was.
I mean, perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, I'll pull it up. Okay, here it is. So I'm gonna leave it as anonymous. All right. Titled, my question. I'm 19 and in my second year of college. Last year, while I lived on campus, I realized that I'm queer and I had a lot of support from the people at my school. Now I'm quarantining at home and I'm out to one of my parents, but not the other. The parent that I'm not out to is homophobic and it causes me a lot of stress.
Ooh, yeah.
I think I resent him because he's not open-minded. Do you have any insight or advice on being okay with who you are while being around someone who is homophobic?
Ooh,
it's tough.
That is tough. So I'm guessing the mom knows.
That's
and
what it sounds like.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
The mom knows, but the dad doesn't.
Yeah, and
That's also wild that the mom is just like,
I
know.
know. Yeah, that's a big chasm in the relationship. I mean, I would think someone who was okay with it would have a hard time being with someone who is not. But
yeah,
maybe they're in a oppressed situation. Maybe.
Yeah, I wonder if the mom has like tried to get the dad more comfortable with it, because that would be nice.
That'd be really nice. Yeah,
where she's like sneaking it in.
Right.
She's like, hey, what do you think about gay people? It's like, I feel like they're maybe not that bad. You know?
Like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy is always on, or some.
Yeah.
It's tricky with like, there's like some like kind of representation that would maybe. There's a funny comedian named Tim Dillon who is gay but does not fit the stereotypes. Maybe introduce him to Tim Dillon. I don't know. That maybe is too much of a jump. I don't know if you'd be like, what the fuck? But it's like, oh, wow, he's gay. And then maybe that would be like, see, they come in all.
Yeah, just every single day. She's like, oh, this is a new person that's gay. That's like, maybe this. Maybe you like this. Are you a fan of this?
They're gay.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're like, oh, gotcha.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's tough because I think you have to think about, too, if, it's because you don't want to come out and then if you rely on someone like financially, too.
Totally. It's hard because it's like you're 19, you're in college, you still need your parents' support. You're not like living on your own.
When did you come out to your parents?
When I was 19.
Oh, you did?
And I only came out to my mom because I don't really talk to my dad.
Right.
but I'm sure he knows from the internet.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
for
if you
sure.
check the Wikipedia page.
Right. If
he
he's keeping up.
knows.
If
Yeah,
he's keeping up. I came out to my mom first too. But my dad knew, he said.
Yeah,
Would
I
your
mean,
mom?
like, yeah, I'm sure she knows.
She was.
Or, yeah, or
she
he
actually was said that she was more surprised my dad was not. He
Oh,
knew.
really?
Yeah. Was your mom surprised?
No, she knew. But I
Okay.
think she was hoping. I mean,
Well,
she's totally like fine with it and stuff, but I think she was like hoping it was like not really the case.
Totally.
She was like, I knew you were gay since you were a kid, but like also like I was kind of hoping
Right.
you weren't. You know, I was like maybe you're not.
Right. Like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm like,
you.
all right, cool, but we're still sticking with the gay thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's staying.
Yeah.
It's staying.
Pretty sure this one's gonna stick.
Yeah. My mom asked towards the end of college, she's like,
It's, you're about to graduate. Do you think you're going to try being with men?
That's what it was.
yeah. I
About
was-
to graduate.
yeah. I got that diploma. Give me another stick. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, it was because I went to an all women's college, to be fair to her. So that's why she was
You
gotcha.
like,
think?
Where'd you go? Like Smith?
Simmons.
Oh, okay.
Would have loved to go. I mean, I actually love Simmons, best time of my life, but Smith, I mean, that would have been great.
Yeah.
That's like, I wouldn't have left Northampton, I don't
Yeah.
think. You know? But Northampton is fucking intense. Have you even been to Northampton's like beautiful
No,
town?
I have not spent that much time on the East Coast.
It's Northampton is very it just feels like it's kind of, I haven't been there in years, but it's like it's gorgeous. It's kind of, I don't know, radical feeling a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very, very pretty. Have you been to P-Town?
No.
Beautiful. I love P-Town.
I've heard.
And P-Town is when I've been, it's usually more like gay men, which it's like definitely fun. The women's weekend that I went to was talk about anxiety, party time. I mean,
Again, I can't do the party
too
thing.
much,
I
and maybe
can't.
the gay men were, but I wasn't being like pressured as much to go out, so I was just like fucking hammered the whole time I was there
Yeah.
to cope with it. Would you? I feel like we can't speak to the timing of someone coming out, but I would say it's totally natural to resent someone because they're not open-minded. Of course, they're making you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then, so I guess the advice is on being okay with someone that is being hurtful. It's really hard.
You know what? For me, I always just try to think of it like it's not that they don't like you, they're dealing with their own shit.
Totally.
That's like how I deal with anyone being like mean or like, I'm like, I don't like what's happening, is I just have to remember that everyone is dealing with their own problems.
Yes.
You know, it's like they either like hate themselves or they're working on something in themselves and has literally nothing to do with you.
Right.
And that's like kind of what gets me through anything.
That's a very important life lesson, to like take yourself out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like hard not to.
Totally. I mean, yeah, of course. Like sometimes I'm still like, oh, this person hates me or whatever. But it's like trying to remember they don't really hate you.
Right.
They hate something about themselves
Right.
that they have not worked through and they're taking it out
Right.
on you.
Right.
But it has nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do. That's like remembering that something has nothing to do with you is such an important thing like this is a little bit of a jump, but I worked as a recruiter right out of college. I did got fired. Didn't last long. But when I was the one getting all the resumes, it makes me think differently. Like if I've got a friend that's like, I applied and they didn't get back to me. I'm like, it's not about you. They're getting 5 million resumes and the hiring person said they're not hiring. They just didn't tell you that.
Exactly.
It's just like when you're the one experiencing it, you're like, oh, they looked at it. They saw I went here. They know that wasn't good. I should have gone there. And then it's easy to spiral and picture, but you just don't know. I would also say try to find some support online.
Yeah. I would just try to find support through other people, friends, and not think about that. Not focus on it.
Try to feel confident in that you're not, you know you are and you're not doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess try to find things that you maybe like look into their backstory and be like, where does this come from? You know?
Yeah, that's true. It's like, oh, why does your dad feel this way?
Right.
And then try and empathize that way, even though
And he might be gay.
Yeah, I mean, he might be gay or, religious
Or religious.
something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would say trying to find something. I think that's great advice about trying to find something something that you can like also relate with them about that is not necessarily this hurtful thing, but not in a way that sells yourself short either.
Totally.
Because that can be, I've been like overly empathetic about things but you got to keep yourself in it. And it's an extenuating circumstance right now.
Exactly. Like, this is not normal times.
Boy, is it not normal times.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus God, it's not. It's what have you been doing to like maintain any sense of sanity?
For 2 of the months I was very depressed.
Yeah.
And losing it and having a lot of anxiety and just questioning all my life choices. I'm like, what am I even doing? And comedy wasn't happening at all.
Right.
Truly.
Which is a big removal when you're used to doing comedy.
Yeah, like we do
Huge.
stand up every night.
Right. And then
None of it
yeah.
for months.
Months, yeah.
And I'm like losing my mind.
Totally.
But then after that, now I feel okay.
Yeah.
And now there's some outdoor shows, masks on and socially distanced, whatever. So I've been doing a couple of those, and that made me feel better. And then just trying to keep sane other ways.
Exercise.
I hurt my foot recently. I don't know if you can
Son of a
see.
bitch.
I sprained my toe during quarantine.
Oh, I did notice that right when you walked in.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So if anyone actually knows a podiatrist,
Holler.
because I need to know what's not wrong with my foot.
Have you gone into a doctor yet?
I went in June, and I was like, did I break my toe? They're like, no, you just sprained it. Here's a shoe to wear.
Right.
Great. Why is it still not working?
Fuck.
Don't know.
Yeah, because now it's been a minute. At least you could get out of dancing if you had to dance.
Oh, that's true. This is my
know?
new dancing excuse.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, sorry,
Right.
can't dance. My toe sprained.
They're like, we saw you yesterday. You didn't have it on. Well, it happened on my way
Sometimes
over
I don't
here.
wear it because, like on stage, I don't want to be
Right.
too distracted. So sometimes I'll wear shoes,
Perfect.
but that probably makes this worse.
Right. I didn't. At first, I thought it was some kind of like intense sandal, and then I saw the other shoe and was like,
it's
"Did you just stub it?"
embarrassingly, I tripped on my carpet.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, and I sprained both the joints of my big toe.
God damn it! Life comes at you fast sometimes.
Mhm.
Were you alone too?
Sometimes you're just making a pie, you walk too fast, you trip on your carpet, and you're like, this is fine. A week later, you're like, nope, I can't walk.
Fuck.
Yeah.
2020.
2020.
Absolutely brutal. Well, where can people find you online and keep up with all your stuff and look out for you?
Yeah, you can always go to my website. It's not like super updated with shows right now.
Right.
Obviously.
That's the.
But it's IreneTu.com, and then you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Irene_TU.
What about TikTok?
I don't use TikTok.
So I hated it. I was like, fuck
I
TikTok.
don't.
Blah, 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 blah.
I don't get it still.
Okay, neither did I. Still don't necessarily really. And I was posting videos and then I had one video do well on it. So now I'm like pro TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
So I do recommend it now.
People pro TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would put on TikTok.
I just have been sticking to stand-up clips. If I deviate from that,
you just put stand-up clips?
if I deviate from that, it's not good. It's not pretty.
Okay.
If I try to do the cut or like,
That's what I'm saying.
or like whenever I log in, it's like some person telling you about mortgages, but they're like really entertaining and funny and can
Like
dance.
dancing. Yeah. And for a while, I was getting ones that were like doctors or nurses, but
Yes.
they're dancing and they're giving you medical advice.
Right. Scary.
It's weird.
And I don't want to throw my hat in that ring. So that to me, I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But if you just, the stand-up clips, I do
Okay,
think.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Because
Yeah.
there's nothing, it is kind of sad watching, like seeing people try to do it, the part that's not in their lane. But also, I guess,
I mean, you do what you got to do.
yeah, good for them for trying.
But I
too.
mean, like, what would I do that was not me putting stand-up clips? I don't.
Right.
I'm not going to dance, as we've
No.
already
Yes.
learned. That's
same.
90% of TikTok is
Right.
dancing. What am I going to do?
Right. I'm in the same boat. And I got to come up with something because I've been posting almost all my stand-up videos. So I got to like,
You're like, I'm out. I'm out of jokes.
I'm out. I'm out.
I got nothing.
Well, if Irene does get on TikTok, look out for that. But in the meantime, website, Instagram, Twitter. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Emma.
Of course.